Hello everyone, how are you all? This is Pradeep and you're watching Chennai Karan YouTube channel. So Maharaja is going places, I heard, and it's been celebrated across the world after its Netflix debut. Initially my thought was to talk about Maharaja in Tamil, but after this explosive positive reviews from across countries, I thought, okay, why not do this video in English so that it reaches all those people and maybe give a different perspective about this film. So, am I discrediting this film or calling it a bad film? No, absolutely not. The film has a very good story and a very good screenplay. Even though story is wafer thin, and we have seen such revenge dramas in Tamil for a very long time, so it is kind of predictable, but as a film, it stands solid. It is good. It is written really well. The music is solid. The acting is solid. Everything is perfect. But the film has a lot of problems, and that is what I'm going to talk about. Talk about that in this video. It is not a review, but it is more of a rant, I would say. So, yeah, let's get into the show. So everyone must have watched Maharaja. At least most of them in India, and people who watch Tamil films might have come across Maharaja and watched it. So let's skip all those basic premise, goods and bads, and all those sort of things. I'll jump directly into the problematic part of this film. So as I said, the film stands solid. It has a solid screenplay. It has a solid story. All the actors who has performed in this are really good, especially Vijay Sethupathi. Even though, the first 10 or 20 minutes, we see the typical usual Vijay Sethupathi, but over a period of time, we see a different avatar of him. He plays very subtle, not the, our typical Vijay Sethupathi stuff he does. So that is one of the biggest positive things about this film. And the other thing is, while watching the film, it really hooked me. I was really hooked to the film. So that proves that, the film has, the director has really worked on the screenplay. And towards the end, I thought, nice. It is more like a poetic justice to the villain, or the so-called villain of the film, Anurag Kashyap's character. But after the film gets over, once I start thinking about the film, I see that more as a big manipulation or biggest flaw of this film, because we as Indians, especially Indians, I'm not sure about the other countries because I am an Indian, I am a Tamil, I know how the society functions, I've grown in the society, so I know how we think. So we as a society, we think this is the justice that this particular person deserve. But is it though? Especially when it comes to child sexual abuse kind of situation, most of us think from the man's point of view rather than thinking from the woman's point of view. So you can ask, am I thinking that only women are getting abused? No, women are not the only kind that are getting abused, but men are also getting sexually abused. But most of our films take only women child for the child sexual abuse story, because it is easy to manipulate, because that is the one which is happening at large, and men's story are not coming out much. So maybe if we have, or if our directors have shown a lot of stories related to or male child sexual abuse, we might have come across a different story, or we might have a different perspective. But most of the times, or oftentimes, it is female child that are undergoing the sexual abuse. So, and one more good thing is that at least in the OTT version, I did not see the graphic nature of the sexual abuse. So it was hidden. So that is one of the good part of this film. So what are the problems that I really have is that they use the child sexual abuse as a plot twist, as a shock value. That is the biggest problem I had in this film, because it cannot be taken as a plot twist. It cannot be considered as a shock value thing, because women child or girl childs are often going through sexual abuse in our country, especially through men who are closest to them. That is the same problem I had with Chitta. So even though see again, so this kind of thing that struck me when I saw Chitta, but I did not have a chance to make a video out of it. But I'm taking this as an opportunity to talk about Chitta and the problematic nature it had about Chitta, the problematic nature of the film itself, because most of the studies clearly says that, or most of the cases of child sexual abuse or women's sexual abuse happen within the family or someone very close to the family, be it a closest family member or friend of a family member or an uncle to the family or someone very close to the family, are the ones are facing sexual abuse, especially women child. What Chitta did, the problem with Chitta is that it takes the hero, and what it does is that it turns the tables and makes make us sympathetic to the hero. But in reality, those people closer to our families are not are not very, how do I put it, are not are not necessarily good people. Or I'm saying, am I accusing everyone? No, I'm really not accusing everyone. But what I'm trying to say is, yes, all men is what I'm trying to say. So every man is a potential rapist. If you have a problem with my statement, please go ahead and comment nasty, whatever you want to do. I don't give a damn. I don't give two hoots about your thoughts, because every man is a potential rapist. Yes, all men. Yes, all men are potential rapists. Even if you ask me, yes, are you accusing of your father or your brother or someone closer to your relative? Yes, everyone is a potential rapist, including myself. I am also a potential rapist. So I take that. So can you do that? No, you cannot do that. So don't come at me and say, no, not all men. No, yes, all men. So now that aside, so I'll come to the problematic nature of Chitta. So what Chitta does is, it paints the hero as an innocent. It paints the hero as that, and it takes the narrative of not all men. But the problem is, yes, all men. And if you go back to some studies, it really clearly proves that yes, all men. I think I'm using yes, all men too much. Damn it. Alright, I will go back to the actual point. So what Chitta does is, in the first half, the problem is also that most of the times people often complain that most men go through wrongly accusing, most men are wrongly accused of child sexual abuse, and it takes a sympathetic nature towards the hero, but that is not the case. And most importantly, many appreciated the point where the director placed good touch and bad touch. So what happens there is that it has to be about, or it must be about, the woman of that family and that girl child. It has to be, the story is about the girl child. But what we have done is, since the story is about Chittappa or Chitta, the director takes the sympathetic nature or takes the side of a man instead of standing unbiased or telling the story. So when the Annie character in the film talks about good touch and bad touch, and when the kid asks, even if Chittappa does that, should I come and tell you? After a bit of a hesitation, when the Annie says yes, and when accidentally the Chittappa comes into the picture and he feels sad, what it does is, what actually the director must have done is, he must not have taken the camera to the close-up shot of Chittappa and show how hurt he is. Instead, what it should have done is they should have not brought the Chittappa into the picture itself. Now many might come at me and say, you are talking about the freedom of speech, you are curbing the freedom of speech of the director. See, it is mandatory to talk about this because it is a very sensitive issue that the director is handling. And the director, even though the director has a freedom of speech, I also have a freedom of speech to tell the director that you are insensitive at this place and you must be very, very sensitive in showing this. You should not take the side of a man. You should actually take the side of a victim. You need not be, a centrist where you are often, supporting an oppressor. I'm really sorry. I was really pissed. Even though I liked the film, I was really, really pissed at this particular point of this particular scene. And the other scene where I was pissed was when, Ishu's lover shares her trauma. Instead of sympathizing or empathizing with her, he goes on to a revenge mode. So that is okay. That is okay. I can consider that as a director's choice because he wants to show that anger. And even he himself addresses that in the scene. Through the heroine's character where she says, you are more worried about or you are more focused on avenging that person instead of asking me how I came out of that trauma. So this is the same problem with Maharaja also. So what it does is it shows the anger of the Maharaja man. So that is the biggest problem I had with this film. So it, instead of understanding the victim or telling the story of the victim, so towards the end we see that the victim faces her perpetrator. She is facing her fears. For that age, what she does is really commendable, but we would like to see what that victim went through. See, even though I understand that Maharaja is story of a man because it is titled Maharaja, it talks about the revenge, it is a thriller film. It is exploitative, to be very honest. It is exploitative. They are taking child sexual abuse story and exploiting the story and feeding on men's revenge saga, or say men's ego. It strokes the ego of a man instead of standing by the victim and addressing the problem or addressing how a victim, what are the things a victim goes through, how a victim becomes strong, and all those sort of things. And I really don't understand why Abhirami is in the film. I really don't understand why Mamta Mohandas is in the film, because they are performers. They, if given a character, they would have done really well. But they are just there. Anyone could have done that character. We don't need a Mamta Mohandas, or we don't need an Abhirami to do that particular role. Anyone could have done that role. Their screen time is very, very limited. So that is also a biggest question. So maybe I really don't know. I cannot comment on any of that. But so they could have, the director could have told how Mamta helped that girl, or the bond between Mamta and the girl. So even though they established a couple of things here and there, Mamta's character is really not fleshed out. Abhirami's character is also really not fleshed out. And another biggest problem for me was the climax, where a man feels okay to rape his enemy's child, but when he understands or when he comes to know that it is his child, he feels remorse and he kills himself and all those sort of things. So why anyone would have don't have a problem when it is their parents, their wife or kid or sister, but when it is someone else's, they don't give a damn. So that is, I cannot say that is a problem, but that is something that I consider that the director questions people who are two-faced. See, usually, commonly in Indian society, what happens is that people take these anonymous characters online, they abuse women, but when it comes to their women, the women in their family, they take extra care. But when it is women outside their family, they don't give two hoots. Ultimately the director tried to say is yes, all men are potential rapists. But the problem which I really had with this film was they took that as a shock value, and they took child sexual abuse as a plot twist instead of having a genuine concern about the victims. So I really don't know whether I conveyed what I really want to talk about, but I hope I did. And I'm not sure whether many resonate with my thoughts, but if you do, please share your thoughts, whether did I miss something in the film that I did not address in the comments, and I would really like to read about it. And if you are someone who did not resonate or who did not like what I said, or who did not resonate with my thoughts, please do comment that also. Please be a little bit civil so that we can have a very civic discussion. And I always encourage to have a civic discussion. I usually, when people come with some sarcastic or abuse me, either I try to engage very less or I don't engage at all. So please be civil, and I would really love to, read your thoughts. And I'll meet you in next video, be it in a movie review or some rant about a movie or a TV show or anime or a book for that matter. Until next video, thank you. Bye-bye.